Hello. Hello, everybody. Ozro and Miki, thank you for the gifted, as always, generous. You two, as usual, appreciate that. And Caelen, thank you for 3 months. My brain hitched. I was like, Caelen. Is it Cayenne or is it like Cayenne? No, it's probably Cayenne, like the pepper. Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Shiki Katagami, the Divine Diva of FSP LAMENTUS, and today I'm feeling a bit goofy. I was asleep 5 minutes ago, and we're ready to rumble. Gonna answer some questions. Girl, same. I was like so exhausted all of a sudden. I was, what was I doing this morning? Nothing really. I was just, it hit like an hour before stream, and I was like, I gotta close my eyes for a minute. And I was like, you know? You know? So sometimes it's like that. How's it going, Shinri Katagami? That's somebody else. That's an inside joke between me, Flap, and any other Ruzader who was watching, Ruze's stream yesterday, the Hunt HopCon, where I chatted and everyone said, hi Shiki, hi Shiki, hi Shiki, and then one person said, hey Shinri. And I don't think they did it on purpose. Like, it wasn't a joke. At least it didn't seem to be. And I looked, and no one else, they didn't like say anything else. I was like, Shinri, and I waited to see if they would say something, and they didn't. Hello, Shiki. Hi. Hi. Any other bookkeeping thing? Oh, some people, named, Mara and Flapjack were asking for, transparent background, selfies. I asked my manager if we could do it, and we don't know. So if those of you who wanted more, like, high quality Shiki pictures, might happen. I can't make any promises, just that I was like, hey, Mane-san, this seems like a good idea, and like other VTubers have done it. Like, Flayon uploads transparent PNGs of himself all the time. And Mane-san was like, yeah, we'll see. I'll ask. So, yeah. Lucy did a green screen stream. A stream is a little different. But I guess not unheard of. It's only like, I guess, maybe slightly different. Because there's an extra hoop you have to jump through if you want to, like, take my likeness. But, like, I upload pictures of myself all the time. Like, I don't really see the difference, but it's fine. Yeah, I asked. I did my due diligence. I asked. When you work in a corporation, permission is definitely better than forgiveness as far as things to ask for. So I think that's all the bookkeeping for my dumbass today. No updates on Shiki Enu. I'm expecting in the next few days to get confirmation on which puppy of the litter is mine. And then again, within the next few, like in the next month, I'll have him. At some point in the next 4 weeks, I will have him. I won't tell you when, because I don't want, to get swamped at the airport. And everyone go like, oh my god, is that Britney Spears? And then everyone starts running over, you know? But yeah. That's it on Shiki Enu. God. Been kind of I had a day off yesterday and everything, and I have nothing to say about it. I had a meeting and it was fine. And I had vocal lessons and it was hard, but as usual, it was fun. Are you excited to meet your son? Of course. Of course. Okay. Huh? Let's make sure I set up this dang slideshow correctly. Oh, and I'll have to well, maybe I won't have to move. And then I go So, before we really get started, I guess I'm gonna say, are you planking yet? I'm not planking during the online lessons yet. No. Disclaimer. Obviously, I'm only answering things based on my own perspective, my own experience as a member of FSP-EN. I'm not reading a script. I'm crafting a script in my brain right now, which is why it might sound like I'm reading. There are some questions that I'm not equipped to answer. So if you feel like there's something that I answered maybe a bit vaguely, or maybe there's something I'm not answering, I'm just a Shikigami, guys. I don't decide who gets in. I don't have anything to do with stuff like that. I talk from the front end, not the back. Does that make sense? If you want the back end, you go talk to Caelen. He's got lots of cake or whatever. Yeah. That's it. So, I'm just gonna... I have maybe a dozen marshmallows, and then I'll also... I can't guarantee that I'll answer any specific questions from chat, but if there's any, good, common questions that you guys have, I can talk about that as well. Barry, thanks for the super chat. Can't wait to call you senpai. Barry audition confirm. I can't believe that Barry is gonna be the dark blue one. And thanks for the gifted as well, Barry. No, fake yellow. Oh, because you want to be the same color as Gale. Oh, that'd be so cute. Color matching with somebody. Wait, I color match with 4 people. What do you mean that would be so cute? I match with 4 people. Yeah. Okay. So that was Much Ado About Nothing by... Was that Wolf? Oh god, now I have to look it up. Who wrote this book? Shakespeare? Why do I think that was fucking Wolf? What is that? No, there's something else. What was that Wolf book that's kind of, title's kind of gabbing, you know? It's talking a lot? Shakespeare? What the hell's wrong with me? was it? I don't remember. What book am I thinking of? It's not The Importance of Being Earnest. It's like a book probably written in the late 1800s, early 1900s would be my guess. I believe it's English, and it is a book. Is this? There's no way this is Shake. This is the one I'm thinking of, and it's not Waiting for Godot. It's like they're English women, and they're getting ready for a party, like, all day. Like, I swear half the book is them getting ready for a party. No, I don't believe it's any of the popular, like, big ones, like Sense and Sensibility or, like, Little Women. And for some reason I want to say Wolf, but I don't think it is. Looking up her works, nothing's in there ringing a bell. So at this point I have no idea who it could be. I read this book once for a course. Dude, I had a whole literary course about queer literature. Non-contemporary queer literature for some reason. Mrs. Dalloway. Wait, that sounds really... Wait, was I right? It is Mrs. Dalloway by Wolf. Yo, my goat, caffeinated maiden. Oh, thank God. You. Phew. I'm not washed. I'm not washed. I'm not washed. Oh, thank God. Damn. It's been a long time since I've read that. You ask me about Chaucer, I'll be able to tell you a little bit about that, but... Phew. Okay. Well, that's enough of that tangent. Let's talk about first stage production auditions. And then, like, a big stinger, and it goes like... And then, like, the little video of the Gen 4 audition thing plays, and it goes like bam, 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 and it's like, and like, it shows all the guys, but like the tops of their heads are hidden. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can imagine what had happened there. It sounded pretty awesome. And now we're back. I hope you enjoyed that little stinger. We're here with the first question from Anonymous. Do PC specs matter that much? Could someone audition with a potato PC with the promise of getting a better one in the future? Well, I would say for FSP, they don't, in my experience, they don't grill you on your PC specs. However, I will say that for content creation, especially streaming, a non-potato PC is highly useful. So I will say absolutely audition regardless of your PC specs, but having a plan to upgrade at some point would be wise. FSP won't make you upgrade in, like, you know, 2 PCs is the gold standard for streaming. Yeah, it's the gold standard, but nobody does that. I know like 2 people. It's so expensive. That's so wild. 2 PCs for streaming is so evil. Like, yeah, I have one to play the game, and then one of them I run OBS on. Oh my god. Aka stinky. You don't need that. So like for instance, my PC is a Frankenstein's monster of a bunch of different parts because I built this myself years ago and I've just changed the parts out as I needed to. I have a 3000 series card, like a 3080. But when I debuted, I had a 2070. And I only have 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I have an i7 10700K. So for those of you who speak computer, you'll know that that's kind of like just like an okay computer. And like I do just fine mostly. So yeah. Yeah. So PC specs are very important for content creation, but you don't need a supercomputer, and you certainly don't need one to audition. Don't let that hold you back. Yeah. Any questions about hardware? Any hardware-related questions? I didn't get a question like this, and it was like, but I kind of think it's tangentially related, right? So like, do I need a good microphone? That one is way more important. Like, way more important. If you're gonna invest in any hardware, I would say invest in a microphone. Any specific RAM? I'm not that much of a computer head. I would recommend 32 gigabytes, but you can make do with 16 just fine. And in this economy, 16 gigabytes costs as much as a PlayStation. So, I will say, get a good microphone, like a nice condenser mic. I will say, though you can make it work without one, I would just recommend one. And this would just be personally. I'm not speaking for the corporation here. At the end of the day, whatever voice quality you audition with is up to you, and they choose how they feel about it. But I made sure that I had a pretty okay audio setup. Not a great one, but at least a good one for when I auditioned. As far as interfaces, you could get away with a cheap one. You know, I know some people will say, get the Go XLR. That's not necessary. I have a Focusrite Scarlett Solo, not sponsored. And it just, you plug your Go XLR cable in to one end, and you plug a USB cable, power cable into your computer, and that's it. Oh, it has a gain knob. So, yeah. Yeah. It's got no fancy dials or whistles, but it works just fine. And again, like this question says, the promise of getting a better one, you could always upgrade as you go. You know, like post-debut, if it comes out that you were like really into games that require better specs, you could upgrade. If you're into content that requires a better microphone, like singing or ASMR, you can upgrade. So I would really focus on getting a good, like, foundation, but it's not necessary. Though I would highly encourage that. So yeah. Yep. Will iPhone tracking work if the iPhone is sideways? I don't know. I've never done it. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, it works just fine. It works just fine, apparently. There you go. I don't like having it sideways, though. And see, but now it thinks I'm at, like, a weird angle, so I have to, like, you know, like, read. Yeah. Okay, well. Additional hardware. I'm just gonna try to think about hardware-related questions to ask. Stream Deck, I would say encouraged, but not needed. They don't ask if you have one. Okay, in my experience, all right, and I figure this will continue to be true, they don't ask almost anything about your setup. I think if you're auditioning, there's a kind of personal knowledge that you're expected to have and a kind of awareness of what it would take to stream. So, like, like, be familiar, even if you don't have things. Like, know what a stream deck is. Know what a wireless charging stand is. Know a little bit about microphones and interfaces and computers. I did see a question about laptops. You are, of course, welcome to audition with a laptop. Me personally, though, nothing to do with the company, but me personally, I would highly advise to ditch that laptop as soon as possible. As far as streaming. Anyone watch Makinux Flayon stream what was that? Code Vein 2 on a laptop? It was impossible. Yeah, 2 FPS Marble Rivals. Laptops are good for many things. Streaming is not one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anonymous, for the question. Next question. Hey, Shiki, what did your audition process look like? Was it easy to audition? And if not, what parts were the most challenging to do? So right off the rip, no, it wasn't easy. I don't think anything worth doing is easy. You know what? I think it would behoove all of us to go to the FSP website. And they even go over. Hold on, let me see if I can grab the exact page. Is it on the landing page? The first stage -pro.com. And if you go to the audition tab, so /en/audition, even if you scroll down, you can see the screening process. All right, so what did my audition process look like? Broad strokes, literally right here. So there's about, for this, let's see, they still have our, hey, Mane-san, if you're watching, this still has the last audition period up instead of the new one on this page. Oh, wait, but the dates are the same. Really? The year is wrong, though, Mane-san. If you're here, it says 2025. It ain't that year no more. So it has literally, FSP, I think, is, we do real good. Not we. I have nothing to do with it. The Corpo does, really good about being, I think, pretty open about the expectations for auditioning. So the screening process, whereas this chatter, I think, would call it the audition process, but it's very similar. I would say even synonymous, screening and audition. You put in your audition application, okay? If that goes well, you get a first interview, and if that goes well, you get a live stream test where you, at least one live stream test where you do a mock, not even mock, actually. Well, I'm not sure how much I could talk about that. You stream as if you were already debuted for staff. That's what they mean by live stream test. And then the final interview, if that goes well. So in your application form, that's a bit more, it's like there's a lot. So like the application form, it's like, give us your information. And then it's like, do you have these things, you know? Also, upload a 5-minute video, right? That video is, a lot. There's a lot that goes into that video. And I think that's probably what this question is maybe asking. So was auditioning easy? No. The most challenging part was definitely the video in the application. I'll talk about it more as we go, but that video is really hard to put together because you have to sell yourself in 5 minutes while being, you know, making it fun to watch, while making it fun to listen to, while showing off like editing skills, while showing off any skills you might have otherwise, while showing off things that set you apart, while fitting in bits, all while being in character. Whatever character you decide, obviously. We'll talk about that a bit more later too. When do they reach out to you if you pass the screening? Is it during or after the audition period? That is totally subjective. I will say, if you're auditioning for anything in life, including this, expect a lot of waiting. With nothing, with no feedback. That's just how it goes. You know, there's a lot of people auditioning. If you get through, you'll get an email. Here's the next part. You do the next part, you wait again. Here's the next part. But it could be weeks. It could be a few days. You act the guy you apply for. That one, I'll talk about a little bit later. I did act out as the guy I applied for. However, you don't necessarily have to, because they give those like character like traits. But those are like guidelines. They're guidelines, right? So you do what you think is best. Yeah. Yep. So my audition process, it was just over a year ago now. I had seen the video and I sent it around to my friends. No, that's wrong. My friends showed me the video and they said, hey, you should apply. And I said, well, I'm not doing shit around the shrine right now. I think that's a good idea. And so we started to think about which one I should apply for. And we started making a video. The video took a couple weeks to put together. And then we submitted it. Like maybe it took us 3 weeks to craft the video we found was perfect. And then we submitted it, and then there was a lot of waiting, and then I got a first interview, and there was a lot of waiting, and then there was a live stream test, and there was a lot of waiting, and then there was a final interview, and then there was a lot of waiting, and then I got in. Sounds similar to voiceover auditions, where they kind of let you fill the gaps of certain things. Yeah. You're allowed to do whatever you want in that video. They just give you some guidelines to maybe help you maybe find direction. So it's not like, do anything. Because I've seen, you know, like as you do, you look at other, like, audition, like, processes that are publicly available, like, if you want to join us, here's what we want. And it's just like, send us a tape. And that's it. There's no video. There's no guidelines. There's nothing. And that's like brutal. That's brutal. yeah, I was very happy to have a little bit of guidance in the FSP audition for sure. Rory, we're so happy you got it. Thank you, Rory. Thank you. Yeah, I think the video is definitely the most challenging part. As far as the auditions, if you've ever had a job audition for any job, which I know some of you haven't, get on that. You'll be comfortable in that setting, you know. Yeah. Job audition? Yep, job audition. Yeah, it's not like some wacky interview. It's a very standard feeling interview. Yep. You know, dress smartly. Prep a little bit, like maybe have a little bit of notes for yourself. And that's, you know, that'll do you good. I don't have too much like groundbreaking advice as far as the interview parts. I think most advice that you will find online pertaining to job interviews is 100% applicable to the interview process there. There's no, like, in my experience, no crazy like curveball or wackiness. It was a very standard feeling interview. Yeah, both times, both the first and the final interview. Probably don't talk about your Oshi. Probably not. Though, I'm just saying that from what I figure, maybe you could talk about your Oshi. I didn't. Except it was really weird. It was really weird. During the final interview, they said, it's okay that you're going to be working with Gale. And I nearly vomited on camera. It was really hard to not. We really had to keep that in, but we clutched it. You know we clutched it. You know we clutched it. Yeah. Barry, thanks for the 5 gifted, Barry. Thank you. Thanks, Barry. To be clear, that was a joke. They don't ask you about existing talents in my experience. They're interviewing you. Oh, there's good advice. Very common good interview advice. Have a couple good questions to ask them. Turn it around. I think that's really solid advice for any interview you're in, not just this one. Have a couple good questions. I had some good questions and I got some good answers. I got some good insight. Because an interview is time for you to learn as well. And you can get some good intelligence from asking a good question or two. Like, don't ask a throwaway question. Like, what kind of guy are you looking for? You know what kind of guy they're looking for. You're in the audition process already. You know what the talents are like. Can we ask any examples? I don't know if I even have my questions saved still. What did I ask? I'm sure it would be fine for me to say them. What did I ask? Oh my god, is this it? Do I literally have them? Okay. Don't copy my homework. If you're auditioning, don't copy my homework. Alright? Don't copy my homework. They'll know now. The questions that I asked, like, in the VTuber space, like the market, where do the interviewers feel that the FSP fits? Like, what space are we trying to fit into? So I was trying to figure out what the goals of the company were in the space. Like from them. Yeah. LinkedIn question, 100%. You're in an interview. You're on LinkedIn TV if you're in an interview. And I think I asked, let's see. Were these my final? No, these are my first meeting questions. I asked, based on my tape and interacting with me during the interview, what character did they find that I fit most? Which I used that information to then inform my live stream test, obviously. But yes, that is what I asked. Yep. Okay, good question, Anonymous. Next one. Could you talk about what kind of information you gave at the presentation video and how did you act? Okay, so remember when I said I was going to talk a bit more about this later? It's later now. It's later now. So, obviously, I can't show the video. I wonder how much I think I could probably talk about it, though. I know people have talked about it before, about what they did. So, my video, I wanted it to be original feeling, and then also informative. I think it was really on brand. I hope, I don't think you guys will ever be able to see it, but it would be so funny if you could, because it was something. It was something. My video, okay, I did it in Minecraft. All right. So I created myself a Minecraft skin that fit the character I was auditioning for. We built, me and my friends that were helping me, we built some sets that fit. So I guess I talked about it before. I auditioned for the green character. All right, I auditioned for the green character. So we built like a lab and like an experiment room and like some transitional like hallway like stinger sets. And they were real sets, you know. There was no fourth wall, you know. They were very ramshackle. Like only the things that would be in frame were built. And I acted, you know, I had one of my friends stand and their POV was the camera, and then I wrote a script, and you made a Minecraft machinima, basically, and I acted, you know, I acted as a character, and then we would cut away to different, like, bits. I had a hand cam bit. I had 2 hand cam bits, actually. I think I had a gaming bit or 2, though it was already in a game. And see, that's there's something to that, you know? Oh, we built a karaoke, like, booth. And I did a very, I can't talk about what it was, but I did a very short TV cover, that we did for that. And I'm not saying you have to do this, but, like, I commissioned, like, an instrumental, and I did a whole TV cover in the tape. So, I was trying to be funny. I was trying to show a little bit of singing. I was trying to be, like, show that I know how to, like, edit and know how to stream. Yeah. So it was peak. We were, like, me and my friends, we were, like, when I showed them the finished product, and of course, like, you're allowed to have, like, your friends, you know, that's what they're for. You know, because you haven't signed an NDA or anything. Your friends are allowed to help you with your tape. Let me make that clear. So, like, when I said, hey, do you want to help me build a Minecraft lab? They were like, of course. We were, like, really proud of the finished video. It was really funny. It was really funny. Hey. Who's starting their car out there? Which one of you? You guys hear that? Yeah. But you're not... Auditioning is not being under contract. So you're, like, allowed to talk to people, you know? You don't sign any confidentiality agreement. I will say, be discreet, and once you sign, now you're under contract and you can't talk about it anymore. Sorry? Yeah. But, like, during the process, I think lean on your peers, lean on your friends. I talk to my mom a whole lot. You know, I can't speak for everyone, but I think your parents are probably very experienced when it comes to, you know, work. And they should maybe give you good advice on how to interview and, like, here's, you know, what they said. And, like, what do you think? You know? So, yeah. Yep. So how did I act? I acted like a scientist. I acted like a scientist in the video. Can you believe it? I was a scientist in my evil lab. What was one of the bits? I said, like, as any mad scientist worth his salt would know, I've been trying to create life. And then I was like, behold! And then I cut to a hand cam, and I was holding 2 painted Tyrannid models. And then it was like, I went from going, like, the scientist voice to doing, like, a really deadpan voice. I was like, so these are Tyranids. And I had this whole, like, giant, like, 2-paragraph script of me reading off the lore of the Tyranids, but I did it as dry and as fast and as, like, Tylenol infused as possible. So that was one of the bits. That was one of the bits. And of course, in the hand cam, I was wearing a lab coat and gloves. Yeah. Yeah. Some good bits. Some good bits. They were, that's the only bit I'll talk about, but we liked that bit. Yeah. 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 Okay. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Anonymous, for the question. Good one. The video was really fun. It was really fun. Like I said in the last question, it was definitely the hardest part, for sure, was crafting a good video. But it's also the most fun part because it's the most creative bit, for sure. How good does your stamina have to be to stream? This is a very simple question, but I think maybe one with some slight nuance. Your stamina probably has to be better than you might imagine, but you don't have to, like, be super fit. Like, all kinds of people stream, but, like, vocal stamina is different than, like, you know, your physical, like, body stamina, and then mental stamina is different again. So, like, your vocal and mental stamina probably have to be, like, okay, but, like, it's just like any muscle. You can train them. So, yeah. 2 hours of yelling into a mic is not for the weak. It's not necessarily for the super strong either. But yeah, it's more draining than you might expect. I don't know. I've never found it too bad as far as stamina-wise, personally. But as you guys know, I go to the gym, you know. I'm, like, really cool and stuff. So, my stamina is pretty goated. What you say is the most important? I think people are gonna think I'm gonna say mental stamina, but I think it's vocal. You gotta fill the air. You gotta fill the air. And that's more important than anything else. You don't want to like get tired of talking and go quiet too much. You don't. Goes to the gym, stands around for 30 minutes, leaves. No, it's goes to the gym, works out, but during the workout, there's at least 30 minutes of standing around. Yeah. Yeah. Be the yapper. I'm not even saying you need to necessarily be the yapper, but you have to be able to, because, you know, most of the time you're going to be streaming by yourself, so you have to be able to fill the air. It doesn't have to be constant, but it has to be consistent. Does that make sense? The nuance between those two words. And have a bottle of water. Have a bottle of water on your desk. I do. Though I found I don't really need it that much anymore. Yeah. So yes, Anonymous, your stamina has to be good to stream, but I think under the condition that it's like generally you're not necessarily like, do I have to be like fit? Like, no. But you have to be able to like talk. You know, I know a lot of us are shut-ins and don't go outside often. You might not be used to talking a lot. Practice. Start, even if it's by yourself. Pick up a book, read yourself out loud. You gotta be ready to do a 24-hour League stream with your senpai. That sounds absolutely dreadful. I'm in. For the next one, I'm in. Yep. Yep. Okay, well. I will say that on the FSP websites, just publicly available on the application requirements, you got to be able to be to stream for 1 year at least, and during that 1 year required to stream at least 4 times a week, except for like extraneous circumstances like trips or vacations and stuff. So that's a bit also like stamina. You can't be phoning it in. You know, you're expected to be doing at least 4 streams a week for a year. So that I think is also stamina related. Yep. Okay. Good question, Anonymous. Thank you. Do you have to be good at editing? No. Though because we're streamers, not editors. I will say, when you make that video, it behooves you to know a little bit of editing, and if you don't, then find a friend that does. A well-edited video will definitely help, though it's not necessary, but it won't hurt. But like the amount of things that I've edited since debut is 0. Do I have to edit my audio? Not really. I just have to know how to record. Do I have to edit pictures? Not really. I just have to know how to put multiple layers on Photoshop. You know? So no, I would say no, you don't have to be good at editing. And you can learn a lot of stuff like on the job too. Your senpai and your gen mates will help you for sure. Yeah. You don't need that much like software expertise. The most important piece of software you should know is OBS. Familiarize yourself with OBS for sure. What it can do, you know, the basics, the back end of it, like go through all the drop down menus. Moment to moment, you won't be doing anything complex on OBS, but you want to be comfortable with the software. Because you'll use it during the audition, the live stream interview. You'll use it. You'll use OBS. It's a real stream. It's a real stream they have you do. Yeah. Besides the 4 streams a week, are there also days where you're doing work for FSP on the back end of things? Yeah, yesterday. I had vocal lessons and I had a meeting. Is that an acronym? Is it actually called OBS? It's called OBS. I don't know if it stands for something. OBS. It's basically 99% of all streamers you know use this. But yeah, no. Does it have to be OBS? Or can you use Streamlabs? I think the Streamlabs version... I don't remember what the context is, but I want to say most people moved away from it. And I don't remember why. I would say use normal OBS. Personally. Though if Streamlabs is the one you're comfortable with, then that's just fine. Yeah. But going back to the question, there are definitely days, including ones that I stream, where I have to do work on the back end. Expect to be doing a lot more work than your viewers think you do, than what people like see you do. You know, recording for things, design documents, you know, normal corpo stuff. It varies week to week, but yeah, obviously we have back-end work that besides just streaming, which varies week to week, month to month. December, we were all super busy. We had a concert, but then like this month, I'm not going to be very busy at all, but that's just me. Some of the others probably are. You know, but all my work was the past 3 months, and now I'm kind of chilling for this month. Yep, like recording those White Day voice packs. Next question. Do you have to be good at singing? Another really good question. Short answer, no. Long answer, you have to be willing to get good at singing. I don't think I'm that good of a singer, but you have to, but I did a TV-sized cover in my audition tape anyway, because I wanted to show that I'm willing to do it, that I'm willing to sing and improve and do that. Like, I do vocal lessons a few times a month, you know, like, you have to be willing to work at it. So no, you don't have to be good at singing at all, but you have to be willing to put in the effort to improve. You know, our vocal lessons, I feel very fortunate to have them. And yes. So no, you don't have to be good at singing. No. There are plenty of people in FSP that when they applied had almost no experience singing, myself included. So, yeah. No, you don't have to be good at singing, but be willing to get there, to put in the work. Yep. Simple question, but a good one. I wanted to answer that one for sure. Any questions about singing? Or any other questions that I've answered so far? Any additional questions? Guess not. Is it okay if only one of the characteristics suits you? Yeah. Hell, it's okay if none of them suit you. Audition anyway. If you sing in the audition, does it have to be a Japanese song? No. It's your audition. You're not streaming. The tape is private. You don't have to worry about copyright. Put whatever in there. But Maybe it might make sense for it to be one. Just saying. Mine was. Did that help me? I don't know, but it was. Will the vocal lessons be structured around your time zone? They work with you. They work with you. Obviously, your lessons will be at a time that are good for both you and the staff and the teachers. But they work with you. Like, mine are generally 3 or 4 p.m. PST. Or 3 p.m. PST, 4 p.m. PDT. So it's like, what, like 8 a.m. JST? They work with you. I wouldn't stress about that part of it. In my experience, time zones, they're very flexible about obligations as far as like when you have to do them. Your weekly meetings, your monthly meetings, your vocal lessons, stuff like that. They're very flexible. Yeah. But it helped to show off multiple acting and personalities. It might be a good idea. I wouldn't say don't do it, but I wouldn't say you have to either. Again, it's your tape. You show off what you think you're good at. I structured one of my auditions over one of the characters, and they encourage you to do that in the application. But you don't have to if you don't want to, which is why I'm saying it's okay if none of the characteristics suit you. I think it behooves you to have one in mind. Yeah. But I thought only one of the characteristics suited me. And ironically, it wasn't the purple one. It was the green one. So, yeah. Yep. So yes. You don't have to have any of the characteristics, or it's totally fine if you only have one. I auditioned with one in mind. That green one. At what point was it decided you shift into a different character? Was it a discussion with you and staff? It was... I can't say too much. I will say it was very late in the process. Like, basically... after the final interview is when it gets locked in. So after the final interview, if you are picked, you will know. They will let you know which one. Was it a discussion? There is some discussing, but obviously I don't get to... It's not up to any of the prospects. And it wasn't up to me either. At the end of the day, they offer... You know, they want you to be the character they think would suit you and the company best. And so you serve in the way they think behooves you both the most. Caelen also auditioned for green? Yeah. And so did Liron, I think. Everybody wanted to be green. I want to say, ironically, I don't think Elias auditioned for green. I don't think so, anyway. I don't know which color he did. But I want to say it wasn't green. Green was popular. I think it just because, speaking for myself, the mad scientist is such like a well realized and like kind of crystallized idea of a character, where it was really easy for me to craft something about it, and I thought it fit me best too. You know, you read about like the demon lord spirit summoner thing, and you go, well, I don't know how I'm supposed to craft a 5-minute audition about that. Yeah. Ironically, I guess I'm the ugly duckling. I don't think any of us auditioned for Purple. I didn't know anyone who did. Yeah. So that's funny. Isn't that crazy? For real? For real? For real. Yeah. That's funny. It worked out. But like I'm saying, it works out. Because they end up picking what they think is best for you, and they don't pick wrong. They don't pick wrong. So, yep. Okay. Good question. When auditioning for a character concept, should applicants focus more on acting the concept strongly or showing a natural personality that fits it? This one, I've kind of touched on it. Use your best discretion. I think there's something to be said for both approaches, or even a mix. But it's your tape. You do what you think is best. You think what shows your skills and yourself off the best. So I found one. Personally, I found one that my personality fit, and then I amplified my own personality to really like hammer in on the concept. So it wasn't like much of a stretch for me to get there. So it was a bit above acting as myself, but instead of acting like someone different, I was acting as like a... I like went like streamer form. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions related to this? This one was a fast one because I kind of answered it already a little bit. Or any other questions that you think I might be able to answer. For the different characters, the character sounds archetypes, but FSP looking for a softer male voice is borderline androgynous to a more standard, more masculine. Where would that fall under? I wouldn't worry too much about your own personal voice. Just audition, and if you get far, they'll find one that fits you. One of them will fit you. The archetypes are broad enough where you can fit into one or multiple. So I wouldn't say they're looking for anything specific, but I also wouldn't worry about your voice maybe being atypical. Yeah. Okay. What are the chances for someone that's not out there, as in little follower count, not an active streamer? Does talent outweigh experience? Oh, this is a big one, huh? This is a big one. I will say, if you're not out there, your chances are still good. I'm just a Shikigami languishing in a shrine. I personally didn't have like an insane, following count. Will having numbers or being an active streamer / creator help? I won't say it increases your chances massively, but it might help them like inform them of what kind of creator you are. But also there is something to be said. That's what the audition process is for them to learn those things. So even if you don't have a big footprint, they interview you multiple times. They have a video that you put together. completely, like you had complete control, and they have a live stream test where they get to see you as you would be live. So I wouldn't worry about your footprint. As far as talent outweighing experience, I wouldn't say it outweighs it, but like talent doesn't hurt either. Neither of those things hurt. Having more experience is good. Having a lot of talent is good. However, you don't need to have massive amounts of either thing. Talent can come from experience, yeah. And people without experience that are talented, it behooves them to have more experience anyway. So like I wouldn't worry too much about your footprint. I would put together the best tape and the best interview and the best live stream test that you could, if you get that far, and let your work speak for you. Yep. Would you say that someone who has a stream should still interview and shoot their shot anyway? Why not? Go ahead. It's free. It costs you nothing to interview. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Why not? How long is the live stream? I don't think I can talk too much about the specifics. It's not short, and it's not super long either. Hope that helps. Yeah. And obviously, guys, I don't know anything about other corpos interview processes, and even if I did, I can't speak to them. So, yeah. Yep. So yeah, I would say, no matter your talent or experience, if you want to audition, do it. Do it. Yep. Do you recommend a camera to install onto the computer, or would a phone be okay for tracking? For my live stream test, I didn't even have a model. When you debut, you will have a phone for tracking. But I didn't even have a model for my audition. Why would I? It's an audition. If you have one already, can you use it? Sure. But I had one of my artist friends. I commissioned them to draw me a scientist character with his mouth open and one with his mouth closed. And I set it up as like a Fugi. And then I put it in the bottom corner as if it was my model. And it like bounced when I spoke. Lucy Lunaris. PNG tuber? Exactly. I, Lucy, and the Lunaris. It's the Lunaris. Oh my god, they're playing guitars. There's so much Spanish guitar. I'm going crazy. I hear... Oh my god. Are they playing... Is that Smooth? By Santana? They're all playing Santana. My god. That's a good song. How are you guys? How you guys doing? Just another fan. Thank you for the one gifted. Thanks for the one gifted. Just another fan. Okay, well, next question. Thank you for the question, Anonymous. Bye. Shiki, how much prior streaming experience do you need to audition for FSP? We just talked about it. You need 0. You need 0. Would it be smart to have some? Sure. But like I said earlier, no OBS. At the very least, before you go into anything, familiarize yourself with OBS. But you need 0. What is a stream test? Is it a stream for the management team that you do random stuff on? I'm not going to say random. The stream test, in the most vague terms possible, you stream for staff. They give you a heads up, like, you're going to stream to us at this time, and you, before your test, decide what you're streaming, what your setup looks like, what your assets look like, you know, like you look at like it's a real stream. It is a real stream. It's not public, but it's a real stream. So go into it as if it's a real stream. So I would say don't do random stuff. Be very intentful with what you do on that stream test. Be very intentful. I played Spore. I played Spore as a mad scientist, and I made some of the FSP members in Spore, and then played some Spore. Practice? Yes. Practice. Will they be interacting? When you do your stream test, you will have chatters. You don't know who they are. And that's all I'll say about that. I don't think I can say more than that. That's creepy? No. I wouldn't say that. I meant, like, you won't know who they are, as in, like, you don't know who is who, because you're still interviewing. But, like, they are members of... When they say live stream test, they mean it. It's a real private stream. It's a real stream. So prep for it as if you were streaming for real, because you are. Yeah. Next question. Oh, we already touched on this too. I was answering these questions too deeply because I'm like getting to my later questions. It's like, oh, I answered this already. Is there any way you recommend us to structure our audition videos, as well as anything you recommend we put in them? Should we put in gaming clips, bits, singing? What order would be best? It's your video. You do whatever you want. And I know that's really reductive. But like I said earlier, I did literally all of those things in mine. Do you have to? No. But it worked into the format of mine to put a lot of them in. Does that make sense? So you structure your video however works out well. I would say you don't need to heavily script it, but at least have a framework that you've written down so you know the flow. And, you know, structure before you even hit record, have an idea of what it's going to look like from start to finish. Yeah. Yep. Is using copyrighted music in the audition video content? No. It's a private video not being posted anywhere. Use whatever you want. Yeah. Will I say use your best discretion on how you use things, but again, it's a private video you edited and made yourself that is not being posted anywhere and is not being made for any profit or anything. So under most Western law codes, that falls under free use? Because again, you're an applicant, you've signed no contract, you don't have to be behooven to any foreign laws as far as free use and copyright go. Does that make sense? Anything works as long as it's good. I mean, yeah. Just use your best judgment when you make your tape. It could be all singing. It could have no singing. It can be all gaming. It could have no gaming. It could be a fucking comedy show where it's just a bit after bit after bit. It's just you want to put your best foot forward, and however you know yourself best, you craft it however you think shows yourself off the most. Above playing the character, above trying to be like a streamer, like show yourself off. That's what the video's for. I showed off my Warhammer minis. I showed off my mediocre singing. I showed off my ability to be funny. I showed off voices, you know, stuff like that. Yep. Okay. Good question, Anonymous. I'm sorry I answered it before I even got to you, but yep. And we're at the end. Okay, so that's all the questions that I had picked out. I actually didn't get that many, but now, are there any questions that you guys have, burning questions? How long does it need to be? I think it's around 5 minutes. It says so in the application. I think mine was just under 5 minutes in the end. Are there any burning questions that maybe I didn't answer well enough, or maybe you wanted me to answer better or at all? Use your best discretion on what questions you ask me. Did you submit your application late or early? I submitted mine a few days before the window closed. Is there anything to say you shouldn't put in the audition? If you wouldn't say it publicly, don't put it in the audition. If you wouldn't post it on your public Twitter account, don't put it in the audition. You know, if you wouldn't upload, if you're not comfortable uploading your audition tape to YouTube publicly, don't put it in the audition. Craft an audition you would be okay putting publicly available. I'll be for the many questions on this topic. It's very interesting. Any prep you did to feel more comfy with the role you didn't prepare to be assigned for, or you just take it in stride? I took it in stride. I trusted staff's discretion. Like I said, they pick the one that they think fits you best, and they know far more about this than you do and how everything will go. So I trusted them. And again, it worked out. I didn't do any real prep. Did I think about the character prior to debut? Of course. But I trusted their discretion. Oh god, would it count if I submitted it before I'm 18? Even though your birthday's a day later? I literally don't know. Honestly, if I'm being real, you shouldn't have told me that. You shouldn't have said that. I don't think anyone would have known. If you just submit it. By the time they see your video, you'll be 18. Just submit it, okay? Just submit it. Just submit it. If it's literally one day, just submit it, man. How long did it take for you to shoot the news you got in? I don't remember the exact time, but I think in between, there was at least, I think, 2 weeks in between the final interview and my notice that I got in. Will that be the same for everyone? No. But for me personally, that's how it was. How long did it take to actually debut? It was a long ramp-up process. I don't think I can say more than that, but I knew I got in a pretty good amount of time before anyone even knew I existed. How much say do you have in your character's looks, names, lore, stuff like that? More than you might expect, but not total control. For some of those things. You have some creative input, but not a lot. You have some, though. Do you apply for a certain one? I applied for green, and I got purple. They assign you the one that they think fits you best. You do not get to choose. I want to make that clear. You do not get to choose. How many times do they view your audition? Completely subjective and relative. Some people I know got a lot of views on theirs. Some people didn't get very many. But all of us got in. Yeah. Do you remember how many times it got viewed? Yes, but I'm not sure that's information I can share. And I don't want to give people any kind of like false expectations because, like, again, based on the people that I know are in, obviously, like my gen mates and senpai, the amount of views all of us got vary wildly. Anything about worries are not sounding manly enough? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you want to apply and they like you, then they'll find one of the characters will end up fitting your quote-unquote not manly voice. Don't worry about it. What about the names? Names you get to choose? Has someone said that? You get to choose? Cheeky Holland? No. I'm being careful. All I'll say about the names is the process is collaborative. Does that make sense? The 1 month period starts once auditions are over and not when you've submitted. What 1 month period? The NDAs go into effect basically the moment you're hired. The NDAs go into effect when you sign them. When both parties are signed them and they're like notarized or whatever, that's it. You're now legally bound. You signed it. Obviously, the contract, I can't talk about. I will say, they do go over it with you in depth. Another ways to sign things online, I don't remember how, but there are many services like DocuSign and all other things that you can notarize things online. Yeah, being overseas is obviously not a problem because we have people that live all over. Yeah. I came in late. How many repeat questions did you get? I mean, I got a lot of pretty similar questions. But I don't mind. I got to kind of wax poetic about computer hardware. I was gonna ask if it matters if you live in Europe. No, ask Caelen. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter where you live, at all. We're a global company. So anyone can audition. Doesn't matter how you live? No. If you fight your gen mates in an alleyway, do you still get to debut? Just don't tell them. Like, before we debuted, LAMENTUS all fought in an alleyway over who would be the green member, and Elias won. So, you know. Yeah. He showed up to the fight with an actual laser gun, and we said, oh shit. Oh shit. So I could apply if I live in Antarctica? I mean, as long as your internet's good enough, yeah. It says they'll contact with you in a month since you submitted your application. I would say start that timer when you submit it. Whenever the date was you submit it, start the timer that day. I understand your question now. Yeah. It's a month from when you submit, because like they get so many applicants, they start reviewing them as they get them, right? You're allowed to submit like what, March 6th to April 12th, but they're reviewing them before April 12th. Yeah. Yeah. How many times a day were you refreshing your emails? By the end, not at all. At the start, a lot. But apparently, not apparently, but by the end, I just stopped caring. I was like, what will be, will be. And I think, God, it was 4 a.m. I was at my friend's house, and we were all watching TV, and my phone pinged, and I went, oh, I got in. And they went, oh. At 4 a.m., I don't remember what we were watching. My friends would know. They remember better than me. Were you into VTubers before auditioning, or did you happen to stumble upon FSP? Oh, that's actually not a bad question. I was into VTubers. I knew nothing about FSP. Bro, I'm from the freaking spirit realm. I don't know shit about these guys. I don't even go here, bro. Like, I knew of some of them, but could I name every member? No. Does it matter if you live and aren't able to come to a certain place for IRL collabs? The FSP website says you must be willing to travel. Application requirements. Willing to travel to Japan for work. That is publicly available information. So, if you're applying, be aware of those requirements and make sure you fit them before you apply. Do you know the real names of people? Yeah. His name's Caelen. What? Caelen, Ash, Ellie, Liron, and Senpai. My 6 coworkers. I of course I know their names. What do you guys call them? What up, Mane-san? My legal name is Ashkariel, says so on my Halo. That's awesome. My Halo, if you could spin it around, it says Liron smells on the back in permanent marker. Yep. Yeah. Any other maybe things you want me to expound on? I saw a question about flights. You are taken care of. The company is generous and knows that it's their job to create the pathways for you to fulfill your company-bound obligations. Does that make sense? Technically, the talents do pay. They earn the money through streaming. If you really, you know, want to get to brass tacks, yeah. But, like, it's not directly... that's all I'm going to say about it. If you want to say brass tacks, yes. But you are not physically buying your own ticket. They ask you to travel after getting in? What do you mean? Like, of course they do. We had a live concert 3 months ago. We were all there. And we were all debuted, obviously. Say someone's very stupid, do you think they can make it through? Yeah. Of course. Of course. Cassie and Floros did. Sorry, Cass. I was trying to think of who's someone I don't take the piss out of often, and I was like, that's someone. Gotta find a new member to pick on. Hey, that's it. If I pick the same guy every time, that's bullying. If I pick everyone, that's being funny. Yeah. I saw some people talking about, like, if you were auditioning for the new gen, which one would you pick? And I think that's a fun question. It doesn't have anything to do with the auditions, but I think it's a fun question. Looking at them, I think I would pick. I think I would pick purple or maybe blue. Dark blue. You think I go for snake? You think yellow? I don't know. I don't know if I would fit him well. I think if I auditioned for Gen 4, I don't think I would have auditioned for yellow. What are the prerequisites? They're listed on the FSP website, but I can read them out for you real quick. You have to be 18. You have to be proficient in English. Proficient does not mean fluent. I want to make that clear. That word is chosen with intent. Able to maintain consistent streaming and content creation for a minimum of 1 year. You have to be able to deliver content at least 4 times a week. You have to be willing to travel to Japan for work. You have to demonstrate commitment to consistent streaming and content creation driven by a strong passion for entertaining, engaging audiences. And you have to be highly motivated and enthusiastic about taking on new challenges as a VTuber with our team. All publicly available on the Audition landing page. Yep. If they don't cast a 30-plus-year-old as purple, it'll be tragic. I'm sure they'll... Trust them, guys. They haven't gone wrong yet. Can you tell us anything you know about Gen 4? I know literally, probably, less than you guys. You guys can probably name the characteristics each character has. I can't. One is Wolverine. No, Wolverine's claws come from inside his body. This guy's wearing like a bracer that has claws. He's like a Vega Street Fighter. One of them is definitely a werewolf. I just can't prove it. That would be interesting. Fake Wolverine? Oh. It looks like it comes from his knuckles? No way. Wait, it does. No, surely it's a glove. The image is in black and white, so you can't tell that it's a glove. One of these days, they gotta teach VTubers. Have I said this on stream? They gotta teach VTubers who have an overcoat how to wear their, like, put their arms in the sleeves. Every single time. If they have an overcoat, off the shoulders. Wear that shit, brother. It would look slick. That's called style. If everybody does it, then it's not good style. Style is all about trailblazing, about being different and out there. Okay, Syndrome. If everyone's a VTuber, then no. Okay, Hipster. Altus wears his coat? That is true. Yeah, I think I would probably audition for dark blue or purple. I definitely wouldn't audition for light blue because he's obviously like the singer one based on his little quip. And I don't really have any idea what's going on with green, if I'm being honest. What are you afraid of most when joining? Stretching my savings long enough for my first paycheck. Speaking for myself, by the time we debuted, you've already done so much. You're like comfortable and confident the company wants you. Like, I wasn't nervous going into debut. I wasn't scared of it. Like, if you have gotten that far, you both deserve to be there, but everyone else also knows you belong to be there. So, I don't know. No, I can answer no questions about money. That may be the Shiki Katagami mindset, though. If it's not your mindset, lock in. Imposter syndrome is entirely a personal battle that is entirely winnable through willpower alone. Lock in. Any other pressing questions? Said you shared it for your kids. You take your phone and make a video. No, I have a hand cam set up that you guys haven't seen because I can't use it yet because I don't have perms for Warhammer. But no, I use my hand cam setup. don't know if you can answer this, but there are policies for what you can and can't do when you're part of FSP. I can't answer this in depth, but you are made very aware of the requirements, expectations, and policies before you debut. Is it better to show your face or not during your interview video? I use my webcam. They said, whoa, this guy's already purple. Could you have another job too? Ask Ash about his retail schmituals. I think a webcam is, from what I remember them saying about it, and this is pretty general, a webcam is not required for the interview. However, it is encouraged. I would say if you don't have a webcam on for the interview, there should be a good reason for it. You know, like, would you show up to a job interview, but, like, refuse to show them your face? You know? Even if they say that's fine, would you? Like, do you think it's a good idea? Like, use your best discretion. Depends on the job. I would argue no. You need to get perms for every stream. If the material appearing on stream is copyrighted, we have to have permission to show it and monetize it. Was it an interview on Zoom? It's on your computer. I don't remember exactly how it was, but they interview you online. It's still a job? Yep. Yep. I know we are hee hee haha, but this is in, you know, you're playing video games and making a funny audition tape, but like you're applying for a job with a big boy job contract and big boy job responsibilities and obligations and expectations. So treat it with the reverence that such a station demands. Maybe I'm applying for the job as mysterious secret agent guy. Your interview is not in character. It's a, like I said earlier, it's a pretty standard job interview in my experience. Some of the questions might be, I can't say what they were, but I can say that almost all of them, I didn't get hit with any unexpected questions. Is there a specific kind of person you should apply? I just want only nice people. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are as long as you're nice. Everyone's nice here. I want us to all continue to get along. Yeah. You got to be able to play nice with others, for sure. But that's basically every job. Do you get company-funded pizza parties? No, but Daimane bought us stuff from the Konbini once. I think if they had better pizza in Japan, my answer would have been yes. But they get us food sometimes. Can I bribe my way in? Meet me behind the Waffle House in 2 hours. Bring $50,000. No, you can't. You can't no. Do not do that. Do not do that. $50K? What? $50K what? Subscribers? I'm not there yet. Any other pressing questions? I think I was pretty thorough and pretty concise. I obviously can't answer anything and everything. If there's anything you think is super relevant that I haven't answered and that you think I'd be able to answer, shoot. I definitely watched, I think, all of the audition advice streams that were done previously by my senpai before I debuted. So I would recommend watching those for sure. Was the strip Uno real? Of course it was. Oh, my mod applications. You're right, MJ. I put out mod applications. You have any idea how many applications they get? No, but I assume it's a lot. Like a lot. I open up mod applications for the next week. If you want to be a Shiki Katagami moderator, fill out the application. It's on Twitter. It's a Google form. It's not very long. Fill it out, and you have a week until we close that. All I'll say is, if you want to be a mod, know that you can watch the streams very often and be chill. Be a chill person. Be chill. No, you don't have to be like a big chatter. No, you don't have to be an artist. The only requirements, hard requirements, are be chill and be able to watch the streams often. Can you send multiple auditions? No. I think even if you could technically, I would say don't do that. I would send in one tape per audition period. Though I want to say the Google form is linked to your email. But you can audition multiple times as far as like per, like Gen 3 if you don't get in, Gen 4 if you don't get in, Gen 5 if such a thing will exist. I would say be very confident in your tape, and you have just over a month to do it for a reason. Make sure it's good. Is it discouraged to be too active in chat as a mod? No. However, I will say, if you're a mod, just be aware now that you're no longer a normal chatter. You have a station, so you might have to be more discreet with what you say, and then, you know, but like, you could still chat, at least in my opinion. For your stream covers, whatever it's called, do you have a specific tag you look through? It looks like fan arts. What do you mean stream covers? Is it okay to ask if they'll have a separate account for modding? I honestly don't know. Thumbnails? Is that what we're talking about? Like the image? The thumbnail? If you're asking about thumbnails, I have hashtag Katagami. All my tags are below. Hashtag Katagami for just general art, which I take out of often. And hashtag Shiki assets if you want it to specifically be for a thumbnail. Like if you made like a full thumbnail. But if it's just like art, I use just normal art for thumbnails all the time. I just take it and put it into Photoshop and make a 1080p image out of it. How important is it to speak good Japanese before applying? You don't need to know a single bit. Would it be helpful? Yes. But you don't have to know a single bit. No. Because, like, to be clear, you're auditioning for first stage production English. You know? Is it a Japanese corporation? Yes. But you don't need to know Japanese literally at all. I'd say, on average, most of the talents don't know very much. Have they picked some up? Yeah. Is something in Japanese now? Hajimemashite. Boku no namae wa Shiki Katagami desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should have touched on, but I think I covered the good points. I think if Pashiki saw this stream, he would be like, yup, I think I know everything I need to know. So like a man with 5 kids and you said that? Yeah. Do you get singing lessons? Yep. Yep. I've talked about them. I had a lesson yesterday. Pashiki is proud, he said so. Oh shit. Can you wish luck to people who have already submitted? Yeah, good luck. Obviously. Good luck to everybody who submitted. Don't feel too bad if you don't get in, and don't get a big head if you move forward. You know, remain demure, remain mindful, and calm throughout the whole process. It behooves you to stay confident, but chill. And also, this is just talking from personal experience. Keep the circle of people you talk to about it small. You know, your parents, your most trusted couple of friends. Keep your counsel small. Keep your counsel small. Don't be shouting to the hilltops. You never know who people talk to. Yes, you're not under contract during the auditions, but also things get around. Can I tell my dog? Yeah. Can I tell my cows? I don't know. Those ladies seem like they're real talkative. They are? Oh, don't tell them then. Don't tell them then. I'd be excited to see you be the purple one, Flapjack. I think you'd make a great fit. 520 is a diva? Oh, shoot. But yeah. I think that's just about it for today. Do you think it would be acceptable to have someone help you with, example, the final sound mix? Of course. Again, you are not under contract during the audition. You can have people help you with your tape. Do you want it? I will say, don't have someone do all the work. It behooves you to make your own personal skills clear, and that includes the composition and creation of the tape. But did I have things in my tape that I didn't really touch? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's 2 hours on the dot. You made a good time. I will ask one last time. Does anyone else have any pressing, relevant, and answerable questions? Emphasis on answerable. What song did you sing? I think I can answer that. I think I can answer that. Because I was auditioning as a scientist, I sang Hacking to the Gate, the TV size from Steins Gate. Yeah. Unlimited bacon or unlimited games, parentheses, but no games. Definitely unlimited games, but no games. Unlimited bacon means it only lasts you like 3 days, then you plop over dead from congenital heart failure. What does POG even mean? It's like, POG. It's like excitement where you're like a gape. You're like, oh, POG. Pancakes or waffles? I'm kind of a pancake Andrew. I always thought I meant play of the game. No. When will you stream League? Only if it's in a collab. It'd be better to if we choose to sing a Japanese or English song. In your audition, sing whatever you're most comfortable. However, you will be expected to sing many things in Japanese if you get in. So it might make sense to pick one in Japanese, even if you're less comfortable. Is that a surefire answer or surefire method? No. What is the best game to play during the test live stream? Whichever one you think fits both the character you're playing and yourself the most. You wanted a game that you're comfortable with because you're under a lot of pressure. You don't want it to be something you have nothing about. And you also want it to make sense in the context of the character you're playing for the audition. How different was the first interview to the last? It was quite different. Can it be Roblox? I mean, I don't see why not, but do you really think Roblox is the kind of game that you want to stream live? With all the controversy and slop? It definitely could be, but I wouldn't personally recommend it. Space Marine 2? Sure. Does your model have an embarrassing name that was different to the final one? No. Your name is referenced to Femi Chicken? Yeah, Femi Shiki. And Femi Chiki. Warframe? Sure. Karaoke? You can sing. I think Caelen sang quite a bit in his video, I believe. If after getting in, they told you some feedback on your audition... You know, I don't think they would be averse to doing so. But also, I didn't ask. I was just excited to move forward. Yeah. Yeah. But the test stream, if you want to do karaoke during it, you can absolutely sing as much as you want. You can do both even if you want. Your test stream is X amount of minutes, and you fill them however you think is best. Do y'all get to pick the group name? A lot of the company, like a lot of the creative decisions, rather, are maybe more collaborative than you might think. How'd you feel after I got in? By the time I got in, I had a pretty good idea that I would. So I was happy, but I was also more like vindicated, where I was like, you know what? I am as epic as I thought. I knew I could do it, you know? Because by the time you're in the final interview, I mean, I can't speak too much on it, but there aren't there aren't that many people left. You know? You gotta have a tiny bit of an ego. A healthy amount of pride and confidence is good in a content creator. We can't be up in front of an audience without having some level of self-confidence. Elysian! Hi, Shiki Pepper Shikis. Hope y'all are doing well. We are doing well, and I love that disgusting, evil Delster. It's so freaking scary. But even by a tiny people left. So, like, if you're in the final interview, so many people have been cut, right? There aren't that many people left in the running. Does that make sense? Do I have a number? No. Do I even know one? No. So, like, by the time you get in, like, you're the cream of the crop. That's the whole point, right? Right? Yep. Does streaming change after you got the job? Any difference, more resources? What do you mean by did streaming change? If not enough people make it through to the end, enough people always make it through to the end. Does the team scout? I don't know. I figure no. Not that I'm aware of. Or else they... I mean, I guess they could still hold auditions, but they're holding auditions anyway. Can you be overqualified? Yeah, look at me. Gloss, I'm new here. What's up, Gloss? Thanks for 3 months. Okay. Well, cute little stream. I hope this was informative and helpful to any prospects. And Gen 4 member, if you're in here, go get them. You did great. Proud of you. Have any exciting new projects coming up? Nothing I can speak about. Sorry. Sorry. All I can say is... no. I actually don't have anything I can speak on. Sorry. And I will see you guys tomorrow for... Checks, watch, Resident... No, I cut Resident Evil out of the schedule. What is it? Oh, it's the 30K celebration! We're playing Fall Guys tomorrow. And by we, I literally mean we, us. So if you want to play Fall Guys with me tomorrow, make sure you have it installed before tomorrow's stream. Because we're going to be playing private matches, like with a code and stuff. Yep. Mara, thank you for the 1 gifted Mara. Thank you, generous as always. And Wolfram. Thank you for the super. Also generous as always, Wolfram. Always appreciate to see you around. That's it. Final question. FSB has so far only been rail streamers. Do you think they'll open up auditions to females? I have no idea. I'll say that honestly, I have no idea. And any decisions like that are so far above me that I shouldn't have an idea. All I can say is that anyone can audition. They're open auditions for a reason. Does that mean that if you're a girl, that you're just a secret girl gen? No. But there's nothing stopping anyone from sending in a tape. The worst they could say is no. That's it. That's it, guys. That's it. Okay. Let's see who we're gonna raid. I'm sure it's gonna be someone really evil and full of malice. Let's see. Oh my god, I was right. Someone evil and full of malice. I was fucking right. Okay. Go see the most evil, malicious, disgusting person I've ever met. Bye, everybody. Otsushiki. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the good questions. Thanks for being smart and discreet with how you were asking things in chat. I didn't get uncomfortable or had to answer or dodge anything. It was easy. So thanks, guys, for being kind to me. Bye. Bye-bye.